What's going on, guys? Jiven here with another video. Today I'm going to be trying to explain to you how I started to gain arena points faster. I'm going to talk about some of the things that I struggled with and things that held me back and that might be holding a lot of you back too. Before we get into this video, I just want to say thank you because we hit 2,000 people using code JivenTV in the item shop. That's insane. I literally had like 2 or 3 people using my code around 6 months ago, and now we have 2,000. So thank you. Without further ado, let's get into this video. When it comes to Arena, you've probably heard this countless times. Arena's all about W keying, which it is to a certain extent. You can build some game sense in Arena, but a lot of it is about improving your fighting when you're playing Arena. So with that in mind, the people that fall behind and stop gaining arena points are usually people that are just struggling to win fights. The biggest thing that I tell people that are stuck in Contenders Division is just that they're stuck for a reason. Whether it be they don't have the mechanics to get to champs yet, they don't have the fighting abilities, they don't have the game sense, they don't have the confidence, mentality, whatever it may be, something is holding them back. So I'm just going to go through a bunch of the things that were holding me back, and I'm going to talk about how I improved on them and how it helped me get to Champion Division, get to Division 10, and now get to like 50,000 arena points. So let's start off with mechanics. So I'm going to be making a lot of references to other videos and to a bunch of creative maps, and all those links are going to be in the description. So when it came down to learning mechanics, I ran through a ton of Raiders practice maps. I ran through his impossible edit courses back in the day, but now he has some even better maps, and I'm going to link all of the really useful ones in the description. The one that I've been running through recently is called his Raiders Piece Control edit course. That is my favorite course to warm up in. It really challenges your building, editing, and piece control. I have a video on how to run through this map correctly, so if you feel like you need help with piece control, building, and editing, I definitely recommend checking out that video and practicing it like crazy. I go over the topic of piece controlling without taking damage, and if you can get down this ability, you're going to be literally unstoppable. This way of fighting is next meta. It's going to be what everybody's trying to master, and the people that do master it are going to be the ones that go pro. So yeah, the biggest maps that I recommend are all of Raiders ones that I got linked in the description. But if that map seems a little bit too challenging for you, I'll link my beginner building guide in the description. So many people have come to me telling me that this building guide has gotten them from the basics to really advanced retakes, and it really helped them get to the next level mechanically. It takes you from 90s all the way to complex retakes, so if that sounds like something you need, I'll link it in the description for you. So yeah, when it comes to getting to the next level mechanically and getting to a champion level of mechanics, it's just all about practicing in creative. Creative is the place where you can get the most fast-paced practice. And then, once you have it down, you can go into Arena and start transferring those skills into Arena. While you're in those Arena fights, just try to picture yourself in creative. Now let's hop over to the ways I got better at fighting. Again, those Raiders maps really helped me out. Practicing piece controlling without taking damage has been pushing my fighting to the next level. But there's also other ways. One thing that helped me get a lot of fighting practice was just 1v1ing a lot of people from scrim servers. If you go to any scrim server, you can just go to the looking for players section, type 1v1, and then someone will DM you and you just hit them up in 1v1. That's really good practice because there's lots of good players in those scrim servers. Another thing that I've mentioned in other videos is just land somewhere safe, get really comfortable at a low-key drop spot, and then push heavy once you get all that good loot. I know from my own personal experience, I fight way better when I have better loot, so landing somewhere safe and then taking your fights will help you be more confident during your fights. When it comes to overall confidence and shakiness in Arena, that's going to come with time. Once you feel confident with your fighting ability, you'll be much less nervous in Arena because you'll be confident in yourself. Once you build a really good fighting style and you feel confident you're going to win every fight, you'll know you have what it takes and you won't be nervous anymore. So if you still get nervous in your Arena fights, just try to breathe, take it easy, it's not too serious, but also add more 1v1s to your practice routine. Because if you're still getting nervous in Arena fights, that may mean you aren't fully confident in your fighting abilities. Trust me, I used to get nervous in Arena fights all the time for a very long time, but eventually one day it just clicked and I wasn't even nervous anymore. And it was because I practiced my fighting so much to the point where I had no reason to be nervous. So just keep up the hard work, keep practicing your mechanics and your fighting in creative, and make sure you get some Arena practice too. Do that every day until you feel confident in arena, and then at that point, you can just grind a lot more arena and stick with it. Until you feel that confidence and feel confident in your ability to fight and in your mechanics, keep practicing a lot in creative until you get that confidence. When it comes to fighting sense, you gotta learn that in videos. The main thing to learn in fighting is when to piece control and how to piece control. When it comes to game sense and fighting sense, there's only two ways you can learn: through personal experience and learning from your errors, or by watching other people's YouTube videos on specific topics that you're struggling with. So, if you're struggling with how to rotate, you want to search that up on YouTube and find some tutorials on it. Or if it's when and how to piece control, you want to search that. The easiest way to learn complex topics like that in video games is just looking up tutorials on YouTube. And I have all sorts of fighting tutorials, rotational tutorials, and just educational commentaries. My most popular series is called How to Win in Arena. In that video, I just talk about my entire thought process throughout arena games, explaining why I do what in different situations. But I also have a lot of really good fighting tutorials that have been slept on. I explain step by step some of the most complicated fighting situations and how to handle stuff like third parties, psychos, and all sorts of stuff. I'll link the best ones in the description. One of the biggest things that I get asked is how do you avoid third parties, and I'm gonna have a video on that coming soon. I'll explain it real quick now, but I'll be able to explain it in more detail in the video. The only way to avoid third parties is to limit the possibility of people rolling up on your fight. It's that topic that you may or may not have heard about called dead side of zone. If you rotate to the side of the map with the least amount of players and take a fight on that side of the map, you're going to be much less likely to get third partied because there's not too many players on that side of the map. Versus if you're by salty towers where everybody's rotating in, you're probably going to get third, fourth, and fifth partied because that's where everybody goes to get in a fight. That's the stuff you want to think about when you're trying to avoid third parties. Another thing a lot of people struggle with is patience. If you don't have the materials, the weapons, anything to fight, don't just jump in because you're getting impatient. You need to farm up, make sure you're ready to fight because there's a lot of sweats in arena. So make sure you take your time and try to loot up. Another thing a lot of people struggle with is learning to avoid getting focused in late game. If you see two people based up, you don't want to go in between them because they're probably going to start spraying at you from two different sides. If they see you roll up right in the middle of them, they're going to open up and start spraying at you. But if you go on the opposite side of one person and put yourself on the outside of those two teams that are based up, you're way less likely to get focused, if that makes sense. Moral of the story is don't get caught in between two players. That's called being pinched. Whether it be during a fight or during late game, you don't want to get stuck in between them because then they're going to both be pressuring you. The better thing to do is swing around the outside and pinch one of the other players between you and the other player. Moral of story, don't go to the middle of two players. It hardly ever ends well. Now, people ask me all the time, how do I stop raging, you know? When I die in arena, I get mad. It's understandable. I'm just going to give you advice on how I avoid raging. Biggest thing, you need to learn when it's time for a break. If you die off rip so many games in a row and you're about to smash something, turn off the game and open up a YouTube video that calms you down. Don't queue up in another game if you're about to go crazy. Because one, you're not going to play well, and if you die again, you might go crazy. So just learn to take a break at the right times. Another thing is trying to handle losses as maturely as possible. Mark my words, every pro player, when they die, they study immediately how they died. They try to figure out everything they could have done differently. Even if they don't show it externally, they're thinking it in their head. They're thinking, this is why I died, this is what I did wrong. That includes me. Sometimes I get a little annoyed on stream and I'll be like, come on, man, I start making excuses, but in my head, I'm going over every single thing I did wrong so that I can try to avoid it in the future. Try to be as mature as possible and learn from your mistakes. It's hard to do, but if you can get in that mentality, you're going to get so much better than everybody else that's just raging. So if you want to go pro in this game, you need to control yourself. Another thing that helps me stay calm is setting content goals. I love making content, and I just look forward to getting content for videos. So this helps me keep calm because I'm just excited to get to the next game because maybe that game will be the game that has content for me. Another thing you can do is try to set arena goals. Try to get to a certain amount of points by the end of the day. Now this is one thing that I heard from Destiny Jesus. He said setting up arena games in sets of 10, playing 10 games at a time just like a cash cup, can be really good practice. Try your best and play like it's a tournament for those 10 games, maybe even keep track of your score. You can set up different goals for yourself in those 10 games, whether it be practicing W keying or playing for placement. You can set up your own tournament format in your head or on a piece of paper, and then play those 10 games like you're in that tournament. This can, one, be a fun way to motivate you to play, and two, it can be a good way to really get your head in the game and get you to focus. One thing to note is some days are sweatier than others. On the sweatier days, you need to play smarter and focus on improvement rather than point grinding. There's some days where I'm playing solo arena and it's like I'm fighting only pro players. So I just take a little bit more time between my fights. I make sure I'm really ready to fight before I hop in somebody's face, because that player might be another pro player, you know what I mean? And then there's other days where it's almost all bots, and those days I really don't need to take as much time. I can just hop and fight after fight. Last thing that helps me with my mentality is if I'm hot dropping somewhere like lazy, salty, whatever it may be, and I die 2 or 3 games in a row, I'm gonna switch it up and go somewhere low key so that I don't start raging. I'm gonna take it easy a game and try to bounce back and regain my confidence. That's another really good way to maintain a good mentality. Anyways, this video is just a bunch of random advice for arena, stuff that helps me play, stuff that helped me improve. So hopefully this video helps you out. Just remember, there's all sorts of links in the description for you. I'm sure a lot of those videos will help some of you out. Thanks for watching, guys. Be sure to like and subscribe if you're new. Use code JivenTV in the item shop. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.